Welcome to the GCN Tech Show. It's just me this week because John is away. He's been at the British National Hill Climb Championships getting some hot lightweight tech videos. Exciting stuff is coming, stay tuned. But this week we've got your upgrades, the bike vault, hot new tyre tech, some new lightweight wheels and the winner of our Shimano GRX Groupset giveaway. Let's do it. Sorry about that, I was just momentarily distracted by our awesome new GCN app. Yeah, download it if you haven't already. John mentioned it on last week's show, and it's completely free to download, and it will allow you guys to much more easily submit your bike vault and upgrade submissions, and it will be easier for us to go through all the submissions as well. Plus, if you disagree with our ratings of nice or super nice, don't worry, because you can vote nice or super nice in the app. Now, it's fully functioning on Apple, but there is a full Android version on the way. At the moment, Android's just in beta mode, or beta if you're from America. Anyhow, first up this week, we've got to talk about the winner of our amazing Shimano GRX Di2 full group set giveaway. And the winner is, drumroll, Joshua O'Neill from the United States. Well done, Joshua, and congratulations on winning. Fantastic prize. I'm a bit jealous, to be honest. But GRX, if you're unfamiliar, is quite a revolutionary group set in that it's the first group set that's specifically been designed for mixed surface riding, so road and tarmac. And this got me thinking about what is the most revolutionary group set of all time. What has had the biggest impact on everything else that's followed it? The first thing that popped into my head was back in 1990, which was Shimano's STI levers. And the first group set that came out with those was a Dura Ace group set, and the STI levers stood for Shimano Total Integration. And this moved the gears from those cumbersome retro down tube shifters into the brake levers, something which was completely revolutionary at the time. And well, pretty much every single group set that's followed it has had gear changing in the brake levers, suggesting it was a true innovation. Interesting fact, that first Dura Ace STI group set was 8-speed, and it's, well, fascinating to think now, you know, we've moved up to 11-speed, but I love the look and the aesthetic of those old bits. I still think they look brilliant to this day. But this then got me thinking, well, we can go further back than that. What about the first rear derailleurs, the first gears on bikes? That was a landmark moment. The problem comes in that there are several companies, some of which don't exist today, that lay claim to creating the first rear derailleurs. And so it's difficult to actually pin it on one particular company or person. But rear derailleurs were commonly found on bikes in the 1930s, and they actually predate the first group set. And my original thinking was about what is the most revolutionary group set. So to that accolade, we can look to 1959 and Campagnolo, as they marketed the first complete group set once they'd devised their complete chain set to go with all the other bits that they were making. Tullio Campagnolo is said to have come up with the idea of selling the collective components together as a set, as a group set, something which just seems like it's always happened nowadays, but it hasn't. And in that sense, that idea was truly a game changer. But what about more modern things like electronic shifting and wireless shifting? So Di2 and ETAP are certainly and continue to be game changers, but they weren't the first electronic group sets or even the first wireless electronic group set. Back in 1992, Mavic had a wireless electronic group set, Mavic Zap. It didn't take off, and that's why many people haven't heard of it today. It was limited by the battery technology of the 1990s, and that meant it couldn't use the little servo motors that we find in modern day electronic group sets. Instead, it used solenoids, which wound the rear derailleur in and wound it out in order to move it across to change gear. Now, because it was so far ahead of its time, it had a few niggles, and Tony Rominger actually used it in the 1993 Tour de France in a time trial, and he got stuck in the 54-12 gear.
Oh my God!
But fortunately, Tony was super strong and the time trial was really flat, so he won anyway. Now, while ETAP may not have been the first, it's still a game changer and it can't be ignored. And it's a classic example of you don't need to be the first to come up with a revolutionary idea. You just need to implement it and do it better. And well, there's loads of examples of this, not just in cycling. I mean, you think of something like Facebook and MySpace. But you know, the Etap Groupset has proven itself over several years' use in the Pro Peloton to be a reliable and functional tool. And it's not just a novelty. The fact that you can very easily fit and install components on very complicated frame sets without having to worry about internal routing through complicated aero shapes is a massive advantage. Now, while it's easy to talk about flagship, premium, top-of-the-range products, Shimano 105 really stands out for me as well. It's the group set of the people. It's got performance comparable to Dura Ace, but it has a slight weight penalty and it's much more affordable in terms of price. Something that we found when we did a blindfold test of the shifting between 105 and Dura Ace. We've got a video on it, you can check it out. I genuinely couldn't tell the difference. It's really, really impressive. And in that regard, I think it's a phenomenal group set that has, well, brought incredible quality shifting to a much wider audience. So there are my standouts, but this is by no means a comprehensive list. I'm very self-aware that this list is going to be skewed, and my picks will be skewed by the fact I wasn't around firsthand to witness the evolution of group sets in the 60s, 70s and 80s. So I want your comments down below of what you think are the most important and revolutionary group sets that have happened, and we'll read a selection of the comments out in next week's show. Hot tech now, beginning with some hot new wheel tech. Now, the extremely high-end German wheel brand Lightweight has just released some new wheels that are tubeless ready and rated for gravel and cross use. The new range consists of 4 disc brake wheel sets which make use of a new construction technique involving high modulus CFRP fibres, which are said to make the wheels even stiffer than before. The rim width has been increased too, although the internal rim width is still modest at 18.2 millimeters compared to some other wheels that are out there on the market. Hot new tyre tech now. Goodyear has just launched 2 new tyres, the Eagle F1 and the Eagle F1 Supersport. Both are said to be premium, high performance road racing tyres. Now, the Eagle F1 name has long been associated with performance motorsport tyres, but now it's quite exciting because there's a bike version. Now, the Eagle Goodyear tyre that was launched for bikes last year was tubeless, but these 2 new ones aren't, and that's owing to a lighter construction with a different carcass, less rubber on there, and also a new rubber compound. The Eagle F1 and Supersport are designed to be optimised around a 17mm internal rim width, whereas the previous model, the tubeless Eagle, was around a 19mm rim. And the new compound features graphene, you guessed it, and also silica to lower rolling resistance too. Shiny new helmet tech now. I want a helmet to be aero, but I also want it to be vented on hot days. Unfortunately, aero and vented don't tend to come hand in hand, but researchers at Deakin University in Australia may have solved the problem. Dynero, as it's being called, is a new shape-shifting helmet that can adjust its vents and aerodynamics on the fly as you ride. Still a prototype at the moment, but the engineers at Deakin University say that it uses Bluetooth to connect to computers or sensors inbuilt into the bike or on your smartphone to detect what you're doing in the environment or what kind of riding you're doing so that it can make adjustments on the fly. The theory is that the helmet would be able to respond to changes in temperature, humidity, speed, wind, things like that. So you would hit a finish line sprint and it would go into its most aerodynamic shape possible to maximize your aero gains, or perhaps if you were on a fast descent. And then if you came to a steep climb and it was hot, it would open out so that you could get the maximum ventilation. Now, it's still a prototype at this stage, but it's a really interesting idea and I've not seen anything like this before, so we'll be keeping an eye on it to see how it progresses. Although under current UCI rules, it would be highly illegal. However, there are plenty of non-UCI events where you could use it. UCI, stopping fun again. More hot tech next week. So just after I finished filming the tech show, I flew to Belgium, and while I was flying there, some hot tech news dropped, which is why I'm currently doing this hot tech news flash from my Ghent hotel room, complete with Jeremy Powers on the bed over there. Proper glamorous, this. Anyhow, Lotus, in collaboration with Hope, has just launched a brand new track bike for the GB squad that's going to be used in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. It's seriously radical. Check this out. Many of you will be familiar with the classic Lotus 108 track bike, which was famously used by Chris Boardman to win gold at the Barcelona Olympics. John Cannings has done an excellent video on it as well. The new bike, which will be named the HBT, is said to be a nod to that. Now, the wheels, which have been developed by Hope, they're disc wheels, and Hope claims that there's a new manufacturing process that's revolutionary and has enabled them to make the wheels lighter, but without removing any stiffness in those wheels. And they're also designed to be homogeneous with the Lotus frame. So the wheels and the frame have been designed to work as a single package that's aerodynamically optimized through extensive wind tunnel testing, both with the bike and on its own, and also with the bike and a rider. The wide forks and stays on this bike are certainly very distinctive. And with the winning margins being so small on the track, it'll be intriguing to see if this bike makes a difference to the GB riders. And especially when you consider that, you know, Olympics track cycling has been such a technological arms race over the last few years. GB have often been at the forefront, and does this bike mean that they're going to continue to be? Let us know in the comments down below. Right, I'm going to go and film some cyclocross videos with Powers now. He's in his pants on the bed. Oh, God. Back to the studio. Back to me in the studio. Weird. Cha-ching! It's now time for Screw Riding Upgrades by Upgrades, where you submit evidence of the upgrades that you've made to your bikes or equipment to win the ultimate prize. And we've got a new prize. You will now win a GCN cap or casquette if you're French, or if you're not French but just pretentious.
Even a casquette like me.
Okay, so this week, what do we got? That's my rubbish Al Pacino impression. We've got Jeff, who's from Detroit, Michigan, in the United States. And he's got his Canyon Endurace 7. Now, he purchased it in 2019, and he went for a black on black frame with black decals or decals, and upon getting it, he thought it was too black. I mean, how much more black could it be? And the answer is none. None more black. So he decided to paint the top tube gloss white and also purchased some bright red vinyl decals or decals. And he also changed some components too. So he got a zip service core stem, FSA Power Touch gel tape in bright red to go with those new decals. He changed the bottom bracket to an Acer Racing and also the jockey wheels too. Silver chain because he thought that looked better on this frame than a gold one. Fair enough, fair play. And he got an 1130 cassette, nice little finishing details like a red anodized seat post clamp and a Selle Italia SL Flow saddle. And also, continuing with that red theme, some Bontrager Elite plastic water bottle cages. So this is what he started with. And look at that, see him stripping it down. Look at the result of that. That is brilliant. Do you know what? That's a definite, I think that's a definite improvement over the original non more black frame. I think that's really smart, and I love how you've thought about the little red details on there, and you've matched it with the frame and the tape and the seat post clamp. That's a really tidy job. It's going to be tough for whoever's up against Jeff from Detroit, and that is Nick from Glossop in Derby. Well, Derbyshire, that's how they say it over there. Anyway, after getting back into cycling after a few years off the bike, Nick decided to get himself a carbon road bike. Good choice. But not wanting to invest too much, he bought an old Boardman frame off one of his mates. Now, the frame was in good structural condition, but the paint job was a bit iffy, and the protective coating had lifted off in a few places, like the lacquer. So he fitted a brand new Shimano 105 Groupset, something which he says he learned to do by watching GCN. Nice one. And he started to think of ways he could improve the look of the bike. So he says, I came up with the idea of vinyl wrapping the frame. Oh yeah? Yeah, where did you come up with that idea then? That's all right, I'm only messing. So he did it, and he said he worked out okay, but it looked good from a distance, but he was disappointed with how it looked when he got closer. So he decided after a while, I'm removing the wrap, did that, but it also removed some of the paint when he took it off, where the clear coat had previously failed. So he thought enough was enough, and he stripped the paint off the entire frame. You can see it in its sanded, primed state there. And then he resprayed the entire thing, which he says is his first effort in doing that kind of thing. But for a first effort, I think you've done an awesome job there. And he said his mate used to call the bike Colin. Bit weird, going for a ride on Colin. Weird. But as he felt it had undergone fairly substantial surgery, a sex change was required. Even weirder. This gets weirder. So he's called it Colina, and he's put Colina graphics on it. Whatever floats your boat. I mean, weird, but I think it looks brilliant. You've done an incredible job. And for a first job on painting it, that is mega. I mean, I've not had a go at painting a bike yet, and we've all seen John's first, second and third attempts at painting bikes, and yeah, that looks superb. Really like that. That looks great, but it's not down to me. It's going to be close this week, I think. I think these are two excellent submissions. So you can vote following the link down here. You can vote in the app. Use the app. It's now time for my favourite part of the show, the Bike Vault, where you submit pictures of your bikes using the app, not the uploader. We won't look at them if they're in the uploader. And we judge them, or I judge them this week, to be nice or super nice. If they're nice, well, that's nice. If they're super nice, then we ring the bell and they go in the Bike Vault for eternity. But unfortunately, the bell's gone missing. I have no idea where it's gone, but doesn't appear to be here. So it looks like there'll be no super nices this week. Oh. Appears to be a knock at the door. Delivery. Oh. Well, I like presents. Thanks. I wonder what this could be.
Just sign in.
Yeah. There you go.
Cheers.
Let's open this. Appears to be a bell. What's in there? There's a note with it as well. Sorry I couldn't be with you this week, Ollie. The bell had gone missing, so I took the liberty of ordering a new one and sending it special delivery for you. Lots of love, John. Thanks, John. Right. Let's go. So first this week into the Bike Vault, hoping to get in, we've got Aloysius. Is that your real name? You have a BMC road machine there, and you're in Perth, Australia. Very nice looking bike. Do you know what that is? I have to say that's textbook. I mean, you've got a beautiful background. The horizon is perfectly level with the fence. That's brilliant. It's like you've used a spirit level or maybe even a tripod. You've been watching the video of how to get in. That's great. You've got everything right. You've taken your bottles out. It's all very neat. Crank in the 3 o'clock position just about. The valves and the tires perfectly lined up. I mean, textbook. It's textbook. It's a super nice. It's a super nice, yeah. Well done. Next up, we've got Jean-Luc with his Trek Madone SL6, and he's in Montreal, Canada. And look at that. I mean, that's a stunner. Looks like it's a Project One paint job as well. I don't think that's a stock paint job, but that kind of like yellow. Is it yellow? Is it slightly green? Is it a fade? But on then you've got the gloss black and the matte black. That was like my old one had that. That's beautiful. You've lined up the wheels well. Not quite perfect with that front wheel, but I'm willing to let that slide. Cranks pretty much in the 3 o'clock position. Biggie Smalls, good work. Bottles out. I mean, it's looking very, very neat there. That's very good. And you appear to have applied some kind of filter to the photo, which I mean, that's a good filter. I think that looks quite nice. It sells the bike quite well. I think. Do you know what? I think I'm going to have to give that one a super nice as well. I mean, your lawn does need a bit of a trim, but I'm going to let that slide. Seeing as John went to all the effort of special delivering me the bell. Super nice. Next up, Isidore with his Sion CC5, and he's in the Austrian Alps. Wowzers. Look at that. That's absolutely spectacular. That reminds me of GCN Saddleback. It's absolutely, just unbelievably stunning terrain. It's like a postcard or, Instagram in every direction. That is a stunning vista. But, do you know what? The kind of, I tell you, I've got issues with this. I think that the bike on not being on level ground it's just setting off all kinds of like OCD alarms in my brain right now. You're not square onto the bike when you've taken the picture as well. I mean, you've gone Biggie Smalls. I appreciate that. You've gone 3 o'clock position. It's nice. It's a nice bike. Beautiful location though. Right. Next up, we've got Ian with his Spa 759 steel, and he's on the Col de Lauterre. Beautiful part of the world, and nice to see you riding when the snow's come in as well. I love riding when there's snow up in the mountains like that, and that captures it well. But again, the sort of the jauntiness of it, the way that your front wheel is wonky. I mean, oh God, this is. If the first example was textbook how to get in the bike vault, this is textbook. I mean, in the other direction. I mean, you've not taken your saddlebag off. You're in small, big. There's just all sorts of wrong going on here. I mean, it's the bike's precariously perched against that post. It could fall down at any moment, critically scratching or damaging your bike. It's a nice. Okay, so next up we've got Oliver, good name, with his Ridley Phoenix SL in Switzerland. And that's up against a wall, quite good. Oh God, what have you done here? Right, take heed. You've positioned your bike on the non-drive side. It is at a jaunty angle. The horizon is not level with the framing of the photo. Your saddleback is still on. You're not in Biggie Smalls. Your crank arm, I mean, where is that? What is going on there? You've got a fantastic bike. I mean, you've got a fantastic bike, Oliver, but you're not selling it in its best light. Your bike deserves more. It's a nice. And finally this week we've got Elias, who says he's somewhere near Nice in the direction of the Col de la Madone. You're actually not in the direction of the Col de la Madone, that's behind you right now. That's looking down onto Ez village, which is one of my favourite places in the entire world. Absolutely beautiful place on the Côte d'Azur, and pretty incredible place actually. It's as recorded as far back as 2000 BC as being inhabited as a commune, and is now famous for its Jardin Botanique, or botanical garden, which is full of cacti if you get the chance to visit. Now the oldest buildings there right now date back to 1306. However, there's archaeological evidence to suggest that Polynesians erected a temple to the goddess Isis back then, the ancient Egyptian goddess Isis. Also, Walt Disney spent a significant amount of time there. It's such a beautiful place, and it bears a striking resemblance to the Walt Disney Castle. Absolutely phenomenal place. If you get the chance to visit Ez village, you really should. It's got a nice restaurant right at the top that is quite pricey. Anyway, yes, fantastic place. More Bike Vault next week. That photo is actually taken from an old Napoleonic fort that overlooks it as well. I've been there. It's good. Met Geraint Thomas up there one day. It's a super nice place. Right, that's all for this week. Fortunately, it's the end of the show. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you do enjoy our content and would like to support the channel, then you can do by subscribing and clicking the notification icon if you haven't already. And if you'd like to get your hands on one of the greatest hoodies or t-shirts available to humanity, then you can do by heading over to the GCN shop in stock. Right, I'll see you next week. Bye.